Hare Krishna. So can somebody summarize what we did yesterday? So you summarize from text number 1 to text number 11. Purushottam Yatra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. So yesterday, the summary of yesterday, we discussed about the opulence of the Supreme, which is chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, and text 1 to 7 talks about the origin of Krishna, the origin of Krishna, and then the 8, text 8 to 11 talks about the Tatu Sloka, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you. What are some of the things, anybody wants to add some stuff to what Purushottam Yatra Prabhu has just said? Because Srila Prabhupada, okay. Raghupati.
Hare Krishna. Please, when Krishna from the beginning of the chapter 10 was talking about he's trying to give the knowledge of his opulence to his friend. In this chapter, he's trying to say that Arjuna is his friend because every living entity is his friend. So the origin of his opulence is highly respected by the demigods and the sages, and none of them even have the same opulence as Krishna has. Because Krishna is infinite, he's absolute, and he surpasses every living entity, whether great or inferior. Yes, and also he talks about the things that he has. It's not everything that he has that every living entity has, but every living entity has it one, maybe in pieces. But Krishna has intelligence, he has knowledge, he has freedom of out of delusion, he has forgiveness. Every living, every blessed thing, every blessed thing, Krishna has it all. And then from there, Krishna continues to speak about his opulence and for everyone to know that he is absolute and he is out of this world. So no one should compare himself with him as a whole. Yeah, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So you're all right. One more thing. Prabhupada, all of you are mentioning some very pertinent points that Srila Prabhupada, that Krishna has made. However, remember at the start of this course, I said that when we speak as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, when we speak about Shastra, to us, Shastra is not just Krishna's words, but also Srila Prabhupada's words. When we started, I gave you the example. I said there are two types of, well, firstly, I gave you the whole process. The whole process of Prama, Prameya, and Pramana, right? The goal, the object, the goal of, so it's me, it's you, it's the subject, right? And then there's the goal, which is realization of Krishna devotional service. And then there's a process by which we get to the goal, the vehicle that we use to get to the goal. Now, when it comes to this vehicle, it's called pramana. When it comes to the vehicle that we use to get to this realization of Krishna, there's three types of vehicles. I'm repeating this because it's important. So so you have the pramana, right? There's three vehicles by which we can approach Krishna. The first one is through our physical endeavor. In other words, through our senses, we try to figure Krishna out, right? And then that's called the pratyaksha, using sense perception to try to gain realization, right? Just like now, many of the scientists and many of today's science is based on this premise that by studying the stars, in other words, by engaging our eyes in studying the stars, we'll get some realization. And then the second type is one of logic, where you use one's intelligence to connect the dots and try to come up with that realization. That's the second form. I've mentioned this before. And then the third form is through sound. It's trying to understand or realize Krishna through sound, and this is called Shabda Brahman. And I spoke about how Srila Jiva Goswami has written the Sandarbhas, and one of those Sandarbhas is the Bhagavad Sandarbha. And in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, he establishes the Srimad Bhagavad. Well, first of all, the first Sandarbha is the Tattva Sandarbha. In the Tattva Sandarbha, he analyzes these three vehicles, and then he figures out which one is the best. And his conclusion was that Shabda Praman is the best. But then he goes to say what type of Shabda Praman is the best. And so he analyzes different types of Shabda Praman. When I was in Ghana, my good friend Baladev Prabhu, I often go to his house to take prasadam and sit with him and discuss philosophy. He had me speak on one Bhagavatam class, because he's always in the Bhagavatam class. He had me speak about this, how Jiva Goswami analyzes the different shastras and concludes that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the best. So he was asking me what other types of shastras did Jiva Goswami did. He analyzed various Puranas, including one of the Puranas called the Devi Bhagavad Purana. So it's very similar to the Srimad Bhagavatam, starts very similar to Srimad Bhagavatam, has similar questions to Srimad Bhagavatam, also has very similar speakers to Bhagavatam. Shona Karishi is there and everybody is there. But the conclusion of that book is that Shakti is supreme. The goddess is supreme. And this is why you find in India, the worship of the goddess is very prevalent. But Jiva Goswami in his Bhagavad Sandarbha, he establishes the Srimad Bhagavatam as the best. And in there he explains that there are two types of Shabda Praman. One is Shabda Praman, or words, because Sabda means sound or speech, right? Sound or speech that is spoken by Krishna himself, and sound and speech that is spoken by those that have realized Krishna's speech. Vaidika Shabda Brahman and Lokika Shabda Brahman. And I mentioned also that in this instance, the Lokika is used specifically philosophically. So the Lokika Shabda Brahman means the testimony of great realized souls. And Srila Prabhupada's purport are that they are Shastra. And I want to detail also to explain how Srila Prabhupada's purport are not just his own, but these are a combination of all our acharyas, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and others, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. It's all a combination of this, plus his own realization. I went into detail explaining this. So I'm explaining this again to emphasize the point that when we speak about the Shastra, we're not just speaking about Krishna's words. We are speaking about Srila Prabhupada's purports as well. Because all of you have given what Krishna has said, but none of you have given what Prabhupada has spoken about yesterday. And we spent quite a substantial amount of time discussing this. So again, I ask you, what are some of the things that Prabhupada said, what the Shastra said that we discussed yesterday? Purushottam Yatra Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada in his purpose, he further explained about the opulence of the Supreme, of Krishna. He said Krishna has 6 opulences in full, that they are strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, intelligence, and renunciation. And
Yes,
also
very nice, very
Prabhupada,
nice.
and also Prabhupada further gives clear explanation of truth. That truth must be, or facts must be presented as they is, and then to be beneficial to others also, as definition of truth. That is what Prabhupada in his purpose explained. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? My keyboard is acting up. The space bar is not working. Hare Krishna. So, all right, let's try and share this. Let's hope it works. All right. Can everybody see?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, so let's put everything in context. Let's move this to the top. I think it'll be much better. Let's put everything in context. Do you remember the questions that Arjuna asked? So now what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand. I don't think I touched on this yesterday, but we're trying to understand how the 10th chapter fits in between the 7th to the 9th chapter. Well, let's say between the 7th to the 9th chapter and the 11th chapter. Where does it fit in? Because we established in the beginning that Krishna is the supreme speaker. Nobody can be as eloquent as Krishna in terms of organizing. So, what are some of the questions that Arjuna asked Krishna in, well, at the end of chapter 7, Krishna ended with certain specific words And in the 8th chapter begins with Arjuna asking Krishna, hey, you just mentioned eight topics or 8 subjects. Can you explain them a little bit? And Arjuna asks, what is this? What is that? What is that? What is that? And Krishna responds. So what are some of the questions that Arjuna asked?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Some of the questions that Arjuna asked was like, what is the Brahman? What is the self? What is the fruitive activities? What are these material manifestations? What are the demigods? That was the questions that Arjuna asked Krishna to explain.
And what was Krishna's response?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Anantajit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And about the demigod, he answered, Krishna answered that those who worship them would achieve their abode. Those who worship ancestors will go to ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and demons will be born among them. These are some of the answers he has given respect to the demigod. Then the other aspect, Brahman, talking about Brahman, talking about the soul, and then the Bhagavan that he explained over there. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So what was Krishna's answers? Thank you, Anantajit. How did Krishna answer Arjuna's questions? What were Krishna's specific answers? What is Brahman? What did he say? What is Brahman? What are fruitive activities? What are the answers to those questions?
Okay, Prabhu, please. The answers to the question was
Yes.
the Supreme Personality of Godhead said that
No.
the transcendental living
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are reading. You have to form an understanding, which means that you have to take what you are reading, think about it, reflect on it, and you have amazing parents there. Your mom and your dad are very good devotees. So when you learn something, take it to them, discuss it with them, and then when we have class, you can share with the class what your family have discussed. You're in a very fortunate position. I mentioned in the beginning of this Bhakti Sastri that it's not about just repetition. We're not going to just repeat what you're reading. You have to formulate things in your own words. I know you're still young, but this is how you learn. This is how we train you to become the next leader and the next scholar in ISKCON. So try again.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Yeah, chapter 7. Krishna explained the kind of what it consists of and what he possesses. That include all of us. He said the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the ether, the mind, intelligence, and false ego. Together, these 8 comprise of its repeated material energies. He made us understand that he has 3 kinds of energies.
Okay,
One,
let me stop you. Let me stop you there, Anantajit. Let me stop
yeah.
you there. That's not the correct answer.
Mhm.
That's not the correct answer. Purushottam Yatra, you want to try?
I want to try.
Okay, try again.
He explained to him both the phenomenal and then the
No. Anantajit,
Prabhu.
what was the question?
The question is, we talk about chapter 7 down to chapter 8, 11 through 11. What Krishna explains to Arjuna who he is. Am I correct?
No. That is not it. That's not
Okay.
the question.
That's
I'm
not
talking
the
about
question.
what is the demigod. That's what is asked. What is
Okay.
What is Brahma? Indestructible entity is called Brahma. Indestructible entity is called Brahma. It's nature.
Brahman is a living entity. Brahman is a living entity.
Okay.
It's a living entity higher than some of the souls. Elevated is one of the elevated souls. The
Just
Brahman.
answer, Anantajit. Just answer the question. Don't give a deep explanation. Just give an answer that Krishna gave, and then leave it at that.
Krishna has showed how he structured everything. You have the jivas, the living beings, the Brahman.
No. I'll stop you there, Anantajit. Anybody wants to try?
Okay.
Because you're not answering the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Balabhadra Prabhu, yes.
I can't be able to remember the whole, but I can just say a little bit. Indestructible living entity is called Brahma. Nature is called Prakriti and something like that. Something like that on that nature. So I just so you start from that statement when he was asking what is Brahma, what is the demigod, what is the day. So Lord Krishna started with indestructible living entity is called Brahma. So something like that. So I can't recollect back.
Arjuna asked 8 questions. Arjuna asked 8 questions. Krishna responded with 8 answers. What I'm asking is, what are Krishna's answers? You don't know. It doesn't seem like they know. And Balabhadra Prabhu is right. Krishna does define Brahman as the indestructible living entity, the eternal soul. So what are the others? So Balabhadra Prabhu is given the first one. What are the others? Without reading from the book. This is what I mean when I say you have to engage with the Shastra. Otherwise, if you're the weekend student, then it's not going to work very well. If only you pick up your books on a Saturday before class, it's not going to work. You have to engage with the Shastra on a daily basis. I've said this over and over again. And I spent, you've noticed I spent quite a substantial amount of time on certain topics because they're important. I mean, we've missed 2 classes. We've missed 2 classes, okay. But we are still in chapter 10. We should actually really be finishing with our section. But I'm spending more time. I'm making an effort to explain some of the very important things that Prabhupada has said. But then when I come back and I ask, nobody remembers.
Brahman is the creator of all the universes.
No, we've already answered. We've already answered that one. We've already answered Brahman. What are the answers to the other questions? Just be straight. You know, the thing is, don't try to divert.
Yeah.
Don't try to divert. Don't try to put too many words. I'm not a seeker going to a Christian church looking for God and for the pastor to preach to me. Right? All you have to do is, Krishna says, just like you saw, Balaಭadra Prabhu gave a great example of the answer, except that he was speculating in some instances. He said, I think it's Prakriti, and so you don't do that. But he gave a very good answer. Brahman is the indestructible living entity, the Jiva, the living entity. Stop, buzz. You don't go into a sermon. What are the answers to the other questions? Oh, weekend warriors. Yes, go ahead.
Is action that is action that is partaking in personal consciousness is karma.
All right, let me thank you for the attempt, Raghupathi. Let me just give you the answer, because it's very sad to see that in spite of all the efforts and the time I've spent, people don't remember anything, because I've rephrased it like 3 different ways and 3 different times. But you go back to the YouTube channel and see. But anyway, here we go. So in just simple terms, Brahman, it's the absolute reality, right? The absolute truth, the eternal, unchanging reality behind everything. And it also means the jiva, right? I mean, no, it doesn't mean that. The adhyatma means the soul. So the ultimate truth is Brahman, and the adhyatma is the self, the jiva, the soul. And karma is the actions you perform, especially those that create future consequences. So karma means you're doing something and you're planting seeds that will grow later. Adbhut, in simple terms, it's everything physical and temporary. So it's all things that are born, change, and eventually disappear. This material world, this is Adbhuta. And Adidaiva is the cosmic intelligence, so divine force that controls and governs the universe, the divine principle. And then you have Adiyagya, that's the Lord of sacrifice. You know, Krishna says, I am that. So it means Krishna in Yagya, who lives in the heart of every being. And Krishna also, Krishna also asked, Arjuna asked, what happens at the time of death? And Krishna was, if you meditate on me throughout your life, you will remember me at the time of death. And then the last answer was, what happens to someone who remembers you at the time of death? And Krishna said, whatever state of being one remembers at the time of death, that state one will attain without fail. So if you remember me, you'll attain me without doubt. So this is important because it ties all the chapters together, right? Remember, Arjuna asked also previously, who are you? Right? Krishna says, I'm. So he's asking about Krishna's identity and how to remember you. So this is a continuation of Krishna answering Arjuna's question. And Krishna spoke about knowledge that leads to devotion. Krishna is the source of that knowledge. And then he spoke about the psychology, the inner life of a devotee. Right? They're always thinking about me. They're always enlightening one another. They're always enlightening one another about me. And then this is the Chatur Shloki. And then in 10:10, he spoke about how he provides buddhi for somebody who's stuck spiritually, but is very sincere. Krishna provides that light, that shining lamp within the heart. And then in 10:11, Krishna dispels the ignorance personally. He says personally dispels the ignorance of his devotees, of those that approach him. So this is the essence of the Chatur Shloka. This is the 4 verses. When we're speaking about Chatur Shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, we are speaking about chapter 10, text 8 to 11. From these 4 verses, the whole Bhagavad Gita springs forth. So it's the philosophical spine of the chapter. And then the rest is just the rest of the, so after this Chatur Shloki, the rest is practical application. So Krishna is again giving Arjuna the tools to remember him, how to remember him. So from text number 11 to the end of the chapter, Krishna is giving Arjuna to the tools to do that. So let's read what's the next section of chapter 10. This is 12, 11, 10. So we did this yesterday, Chatur Shloki, and we've just spent now another hour on this. So somebody read 12 to 18.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Purushottam Prabhu. Go ahead.
chapter 10, text 12. Text 12 and 13 are combined. So Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Text 14. "O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, or Lord, O Lord, can understand your personality." 15. "Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of beings, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe." Text 16. "Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all this world." Text 17. "O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead?" And then text 18. "O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulence. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now this section is Arjuna's acceptance and request. After hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna became completely free of all doubt and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He then expressed his eagerness to hear Krishna's glory so he could always think of him. So the emphasis here is to remember, think about Krishna, because at the time of death, that will be very important. So Arjuna is giving his own is giving some very powerful realizations here. Right? He is giving some very powerful realizations. Firstly, he says Purusha Uttama, the topmost person. Purusha is a person, and Uttama. So Krishna in this verse, Arjuna is actually emphasizing the point that Krishna is a person, God is a person. Again, the theme that I've been bringing up over and over, that God is a person. Here it is. It's Arjuna's Siddhanta. It's Arjuna's realizations. So Krishna is Purushottam. And he says this. And he says this. And he says this. Where is it? Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter. I'm still in chapter 8. Okay, so chapter 10, 12, 13. Yes. So Arjuna is sharing his realization. And an interesting thing is, like we've always said, and Prabhupada has always emphasized, Arjuna is not only saying Krishna is Purushottama, right? When he's giving his own Siddhanta, his own realization, he's not just, he's saying, Krishna, you are the Purushottam, but he does something else also. What does he do? Purushottam, Prabhu?
Arjuna continues to request the Lord to continue to speak about his opulence.
Not quite. See what Arjuna is saying. He says, you are the supreme personality of God, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, the transcendental original person, the unborn, the greatest. And then he does something. He quotes from Shastra. He refers to Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. He says, all the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you. So he's quoting, it says, the Shastra as spoken by all these, because these are sages, these are great powerful sages these are not like, cheap person imitations, these are like real deals. He says all these people confirm what I'm saying, that you are the supreme, the Purushottam. And then he does something which is what we've been discussing. He says, he gives the Vaidika and the Lokika, and he says, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. Not only has it been spoken by these great acharyas, Asita, Devala, Narada, but you yourself are confirming it. The best authority. So both the words of Krishna and those that have realized the words of Krishna are all in this one purport and this one verse. And then Arjuna, oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Actually, before we get to that, let's read a little bit about Prabhupada's purport there. He says, oh, I lost my place. I'm reading from 13. And then Prabhupada says in the purport, here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. He expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. So the effect of Krishna's words, the effect of the words of Devala and Narada and all the others has had an effect on him. It has softened his heart, has opened his heart to receive the grace. And because he has received that grace, he's able to express himself, just like Dhruva Maharaj. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. Through the grace of Krishna. So the grace is the vehicle. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statement in these two verses, just like Arjuna has accepted Krishna's words and the words of the Acharyas. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. And being in the disciplic succession means that's accepting what the disciplic succession is giving. And this includes the Bhaktivedanta purports, not just Krishna's words. So when we are speaking about the Parampara, we include the words of the Acharyas. It is not possible by so-called academic education, and we will. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite of so much evidence in Vedic literature, stick to the obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Stubborn rascals. And then Arjuna does something, builds on this. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demigods, O Lord, can understand your personality. It's a very powerful foundational acceptance. See what Prabhupada says? I totally accept all truth that you have told me. Are we accepting? Have we accepted the teachings of Srila Prabhupada in our own personal lives? Just like Arjuna?
Yes,
If
Prabhu.
okay, very nice. So this is a very powerful, this is for me
We
personally.
accepted and we are still working on ourselves
For me
to
personally,
match with knowledge.
This is one of the most powerful verses in the Bhagavad Gita. One of my very favorite verses in the Bhagavad Gita. Very powerful. To me, it's more powerful than yada yada hi dharma. No, what is it? Give up all types of religions. It's even more powerful than that. Because someone can say something, but acceptance is a real thing. It's like, I don't know, we spoke about this also, that if you are two-faced about somebody, if you don't like somebody, and in front of them you pretend that you like them, but psychologically you don't like them, it's just a matter of time before your psychology comes up. You can only put up a pretension for only so long, right? Eventually it'll come out. Somebody will. So in the same way, we can say we've accepted Krishna, but our impersonalism it manifests and expresses itself in different ways. And I keep giving the same example, like what during deity darshan, how many devotees actually get there on time? How many devotees? We have to drag our feet. We get there even when the song is ending at the end, and even then we look at the deities once and we start talking with our friend about the TikTok video. Is this acceptance? No. Acceptance is, Prabhupada said, wake up every morning for the morning program. They have to be there. Acceptance is, Prabhupada said, every day my followers should spend 1 hour reading the Shastra. Acceptance is taking those instructions that Srila Prabhupada is giving us and implementing in our lives. So acceptance is not just saying, yes, I've accepted. Because remember, we spoke previously about this dualistic tendency in every human beings, including devotees, that while we say we accept Krishna, but our behavior towards him shows that we don't accept him. So just words is not good enough. Action should be backed up by action. Don't be late. And action is how? You're not late for the morning program. You're not late for darshan. You don't wait for the temple president or the head pujari to tell you to do something. You take initiative. And this is acceptance. So for me, this is a very powerful verse. And then, and he continues, indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. It's a very powerful verse. You'll see this same mood will come up in the next chapter, where Arjuna is so bewildered that he starts speaking very like a madman. Right? He speaks something similar. Oh Lord of lords, God of gods, and it's very powerful. Devotees don't really pray like this. This is a symptom. This is the beginning of Arjuna's imbalance. This is the beginning of his, you can see the fear is stating. Devotees don't really, and Arjuna has never, up until this acceptance, Arjuna didn't really accept Krishna. I mean, he accepted Krishna, but it didn't have any fear aspect to it. It was more on a friendship equal level. Now we're beginning to see the onset of fear, and this is manifested by Arjuna's own words, because devotees don't pray like this. We don't say, "Oh Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings." We say Krishna is Krishna. Oh Govinda, oh Madhusudan. Right? This is what Arjuna has been calling Krishna. Now suddenly he's shifted position. He's talking about this Ishvara Bhav is coming in. So these are very powerful verses. So Arjuna is asking, and in text number from 16 to 18, he's asking, how to remember you always. He says in 16, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Again, how do I remember you? O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Right? He's asking how to remember you always. O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Now this is rasa. This is taste. This is taste. Just by hearing Krishna's words, Arjuna is in ecstasy. He's in ecstasy, he's in an Ishvara Bhav ecstasy. And he says, I'm never satiated about hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste. So something interesting here. Now Arjuna is tasting with his ears. He's tasting with his ears. He's in ecstasy. This is a symptom of somebody who's in ecstasy. Because the senses are just like so bewildered. Right? That sense of imbalance that I was speaking about is beginning to set in. So it's a mixture of this fear, but it's also this ecstasy. Right? Oh Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Prabhupada quotes a verse in the purport. He says, one can never be satiated even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:119. Thus Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna, and specifically he wants how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. So you can see somebody who's in ecstasy is always wanting to hear about Krishna. Not about cricket, not about politics, not about the Ghana, South Africa versus Nigeria thing that's happening. No, none of that. You want to hear about Krishna. Sometimes you see devotees go to Mayapur, pay so much money to go to Mayapur, and they get there, what do they talk about? Politics. What a loss. What a loss. What a loss. And this all comes from what? From acceptance. So there's a Gogovind Maharaj, the late Gogovind Maharaj, Prabhupada disciple. I think he left in the late 90s. See, there's a reason why I keep emphasizing Srila Prabhupada's purport as part of our Shastra, because historically speaking, Prabhupada's purport have been criticized so much. And I mentioned in the beginning of this unit how Shivaram Swami wrote that book, Bhaktivedanta Purports, because people were criticizing Prabhupada's purport. It's an ISKCON, it's a bona fide ISKCON book. You can buy it, you can read it, you can see the arguments that Maharaj made. So on one hand, you have the Sanskrit scholars and the academics, accusing Prabhupada, why are you translating karma yoga as bhakti yoga? Karma yoga is not bhakti yoga, buddhi yoga, blah, 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 all of that stuff. If you want to know the response of ISKCON's position in that regard, get Maharaj's book and read it. It's available freely. So on one hand, you have all these scholars attacking. But then on the other hand, you also had within ISKCON and other Vaishnav communities attacking Prabhupada. You may have heard this argument that may be very popular, that, ISKCON is all about money. All we do is collect money, spend money. We use our devotees just to collect money. There's no bhakti. There's no Krishna in ISKCON. They said there's no Krishna in Prabhupada's purport. All he speaks about is you are not the body. Worship Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. That's all he says in his purports, nothing else. So there's no rasa. Where are the pastimes of Krishna? Where's Radharani? Where's the gopis? Where's the rasa dance in Vrindavan? Prabhupada doesn't speak about that. If you've noticed Srila Prabhupada's classes, when he gives class on Janmastami or Radhastami or these big places, he doesn't speak about Radha and Krishna. He speaks about philosophy. You are not the body. Chant Hare Krishna, be happy. And sometimes he'll sprinkle a little bit, but it's not like that. So you get this criticism. The Gaudiya Math, they were criticizing Prabhupada. They were getting ISKCON devotees to join the Gaudiya Math, saying Prabhupada is just making money out of them. He's using them. He's not speaking about Krishna. So they should come and join Narayan Maharaj. And they'll speak about rasa, about Krishna, and they'll get their spiritual body, their siddha deha. So this was the extent of the criticism. So not only is it external, but it was also internal. To the point where Prabhupada's disciples even criticized him themselves. They wanted Prabhupada to have a different approach to his purpose and his preaching. Prabhupada refused. And many of them left because of this. So on one such occasion, Gogovind Maharaj in Mayapur, he tackled this issue. Somebody raised, and Maharaj was very intense. And it was very well known that Maharaj was situated in the very highest level of bhakti. Some devotees were speculating on the level of Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, because occasionally he would lose consciousness. All the symptoms that we know of ecstasy would manifest in his body. So one day he was giving Bhagavatam class, and somebody criticized, one of the disciples asked, he said, you hear this criticism of Prabhupada's purport, and Prabhupada doesn't speak about Krishna. Prabhupada's purport are all about you are not the body. Oh, and Gogovind Maharaj did something beautiful, something amazing. Firstly, he started by criticizing. So I was in that class, criticizing the people that criticized Srila Prabhupada's purport. And he said, in his verse, this Bhaktivedanta purport, There's Krishna in every word. In every single word that Prabhupada is saying, there's Krishna. The problem is you don't have the vision to see it. You are so conditioned by the three modes of material nature that you only see the superficial level. The words of the acharyas have different levels to them. And you're only seeing the superficial level. At its core, every word that Prabhupada says is Krishna Leela. And then he went into a whole thing to explain. He took one purport that he was giving class on and he broke it down. And by the end of the class, we were all convinced that Krishna was dancing on Prabhupada's purport, that every word of Prabhupada was Krishna dancing in Vrindavan. So on our level, we think Krishna Prabhupada is saying, you're not the body. But on a much deeper level, Krishna, Prabhupada is giving us Krishna. We just don't have that realization. And you'll see in the next chapter how Krishna gives Arjuna that vision, the Divya Chakshush, so he's able to see these divine opulences that he wants to see. So that's text number 18. And then we'll finish the chapter when we come back from text number 18 to the to text number 34. No, actually 30. Oh no, we might not finish the chapter. Actually, we will finish the chapter. So we'll finish the chapter when we come back. And then if there are any questions or comments, we can come back. So we'll take a 5-minute break. Hare Krishna. Okay. All right, so we ended off at 18, I believe, yes. The Supreme Personality of God had said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestation, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So these vibhutis are basically seeing God in everything, because God, Krishna, pervades everything. So this is vibhutis, Krishna's opulence, as Prabhupada translates them. And as Krishna says, this is not exhaustive. My opulence is limitless, he says. It's not exhaustive, but it's just indicative. It's just a little example. And then from 19, yes, 19, this is where it begins to answer. Well, from 20, because we've done 19, from 20 to 42, no? Yes, I think so. From 20 to 42, Krishna speaks about his opulences, his vibhutis. So one thing that you will also see in terms of these vibhutis is that some people cut it as categories. You have like your transcendent, metaphysical deities, natural phenomena, human qualities, fields of excellence, so on. So there's all these vibhutis, they can be categorized. So somebody can read these vibhutis to the end of the chapter.
Text 20. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the heart of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. 21. Of the Aditya, I am Vishnu. Of light, I am the radiant sun. Of the Marut, I am Maruti. And among the stars, I am the moon. 22. Of the Vedas, I am the
Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. 23. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kubera. Of the Vakshis, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. 24. Of priests, I am Arjuna. Know me to be the chief of Brihaspati. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief of Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. 25. Of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. 26. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrarata. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. 27. of horses know me to be the Uchai produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Arvata, and among men, I am the monarch. 28. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabi. Of causes of procreation, I am Kandapa, the god of love, and of serpents, I am Vasuki. 29. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigods Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Ayama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitia demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. 31. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders, I am weapons. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. 32. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truths. 33. Of letters, I am the letter A. And among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time. And of creators, I am Brahma. 34. I am all devouring death, and I am generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. 35. Of the hymns in the Sama, Veda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Magasesa, November, December, and of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. 36. I am also the gambling of cheats. Of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. 37. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Usana. 38. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. And of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. 39. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. 40. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end. There is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. 41. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. 42. The last text. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Purushottam Prabhu. So you may have noticed, as I said before, that these opulences, these vibhutis, they can be categorized into 5 types of 5 levels. You can see the first part is the cosmic, you could say also metaphysical. So he speak about the beginning, the middle, the end, time, death, creation, right? So this is the cosmic aspect. And then you hear him speak about the deities and different beings, Shiva, Vishnu, Prahlad, Vyasa. So that's the second. And then you hear him speak about natural phenomena, right? The sun, the moon, the wind, the ocean, Himalayas. And then the fourth, he speaks about human qualities, right? He speaks about intelligence, patience, truth, renunciation, and so on. And then finally, there's what can be categorized as field of excellence, like he says, among animal, eagles among birds, Ganges among water, the rivers, etc. So that's one way. You're not going to be asked this classification in your exams, but it's something interesting that you may want to know. And these are very easy, these are very easy to remember, and this is why I said Krishna is a master speaker, is a master orator. There's nobody better at speaking than Krishna himself. So you can see that he chooses those vibhutis that are very easy to understand. It's very easy to hook you, right? Of bodies of water, I'm the Ganges, right? The sun and the moon. That's very easy to remember, and it's like poetic at the same time. And at the same time, these vibhutis, what they do is they invoke awe. They invoke awe. And an even more powerful thing is that these vibhutis, what they do is, when one remembers these vibhutis, is that they shift one's consciousness from the mundane into the transcendent. I gave an example previously of how a devotee in the beginning walks down the street, so he walks in a mall, and he sees a gold chain, and he thinks, wow, I like the chain. It would look very nice with my orange dhoti. Right? That's a joke. It's a joke. So, right, and so the devotee is meditating like that. Very nice, I can walk around, and all the ladies can say, "Oh, he's eligible bachelor," right? Can marry him, right? But as consciousness develop, you walk past the same shop, you see the same gold jewelry. What happens? Wow, that is beautiful. Imagine if I can get that for Shishi Radha Shamasundar. How will that gold look on the chest of our Lordship? See the shift in consciousness? So these vibhutis are aimed at exactly that. Right? They're aimed at remembering, because as I said, the hook, it's very easy to remember these. And so to remember them is very easy. You see everything. You see the essence. You see Krishna in everything. You see that the essence of everything is Krishna. And every one of these, Krishna says, it holds a spark of my splendor. He says, what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? I exist sustaining the whole universe with a single fragment of myself. Now think about it. It's just like a fragment, a single fragment of myself. So Krishna is revealing here that even a single fragment isn't even close to his majesty. So if you compare like the ocean and a drop in the ocean, this is what Krishna is giving. Now the last verse, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Now this verse here acts as a transition to chapter 11. it's a transition to the next chapter. Because Arjuna will want to, okay, Krishna, I've heard these vibhutis, I've tasted with my ears, and now I want to see them. I want to see them. This is a very human response, isn't it? It's a very human response to everything. We want to see. You know, when I go to visit new places, everybody wants to come and see this rascal Rajbasi. They want to come see this rascal. And after some time, it's like, oh, now we know him. So we hear something, oh, there's this person coming. I want to go and see him. So this is the beautiful progression. You know, you hear something, and gradually the hearing becomes rasa. It's not just words. Scripture is not just words, but it's like liquid prema. Liquid prema, liquid Krishna prema that enters through the ears and goes to the heart. And everything shifts like that. So we'll probably end early today. What we'll do is we'll take the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes, do a little exercise, and then end. So I want you to reflect on something. Which of the vibhutis help you remember Krishna easily in your daily life? There's so many. Just choose 3. And then you apply what we've just been this chapter 10 to your daily life. Because as we said in the beginning, you know, Krishna establishes himself. He speaks about himself, and then he gives the practical method by which Arjuna can remember him. This is the rest of the chapter after the Chatur Shloki, right? So you list 3, and then you also apply chapter 10 to personal practice, because it's very practical. The things that Krishna has given there is practical. I am the taste in water. So, in other words, the first thing is you write 3 vibhutis that you personally connect with, and then how you will use them to remember Krishna. So while you're thinking about that, I'll summarize this chapter, in a few words, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. 1, Krishna is a supreme source of everything. His devotees love him, and he reveals his presence everywhere so that they can remember him and return to him. That's in essence the chapter in one or 2 verses. So, who wants to start? Can start, and then we can finish. Everybody will have to say something about these 3 things. So any of these 3 that you connect with, and how you're going to use them in your day-to-day Krishna consciousness, and then also tie that in with the rest of the chapter. How are you going to use the chapter practically in your day-to-day life? Who wants to go first? Everybody will speak. Because
I'm here.
there's only 5 people.
I'm here.
Okay. Onyako, start. Go.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. He said, let me use this words, among the converted demons is Prahlad. Hare Krishna.
I'm listening. Yeah, we're all listening. And you have to tell us how you're going to use that in your day-to-day remembrance of Krishna.
Yes, Prahlad Maharaj. He sees Krishna in everything. And he sees Krishna as the only worshipable God, that there's no other God. And he's very devoted. That is why when his father, Hiranyakashipu, was trying to let him discourage him from Krishna, he said no, even though he was taught in a demoniac way. And Prahlad Maharaj, understand Krishna from his childhood. He was born in a demoniac family, and the father Hierarchical people was expecting him to take over. And if he had to take over from his father, which means he would have been more terrible than his father. So when Krishna touched him now, he became a Krishna devotee. He now uses all his energy, everything him, he surrender everything to Krishna. So for that, I want to be seeing the Supreme Personality in everything and the only worshipable God.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Who's next?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Balabhadra Prabhu. Yes.
Are you talking about 20? Like Krishna said, I'm the super soul who are sitting in the heart of all living entities. I'm the beginning, the middle.
All right. Anyone else? Who's next? While Balabhadra Prabhu is getting unfrozen.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I chose mine from text 22. That of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. And as Indra, the king of heaven, how he offended Lord Krishna during the shifting of his puja to the worship of Govardhan here. And after all the efforts, he was defeated by Krishna, and he came back to his senses and realized that he has offended his master. And then he came down to apologize. So in my day-to-day activity also, I realized that I have offended somebody. I approach the person and ask for forgiveness as Indra did. And with some authority also, which can help me to do as Indra, the king of heaven, did. And also, the same text says, of the senses, I am the mind. So we all know how the status of the mind, which is very troublesome, restless, and very difficult to control, but it can also be controlled by the practice of constant practice and detachment. The mind can control. So my day-to-day activities, by constant practice and detachment, I'm sure I can put my mind to control as a Bhakti yoga or yogi. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babuji.
Hare Krishna, Purushottam Yatra Prabhu. Raghupati and Pranapriya. Oh, it's this Bhakta Elvis is here also. So there's 3 of you left to share. All right, so I guess that's the end of the class then. Hare Krishna. So have a nice week ahead. We will see you next week, Krishna willing. And yeah, if you can read chapter 11 ahead of time, that'll be great. Hare Krishna. Take care.